What's going on, guys? PXCam back in with a brand new video. I just want to give you guys a forewarning. Haven't played this game in over a week and I think we're gonna do alright, but as we look at the time, yeah, we have a little bit of work to do. So doing new daily races here around my favorite racetrack of Fuji International Speedway in the Group 2 cars. A great combination. Mwah, perfecto in my opinion. But you can see that we are going to be starting right smack in the middle of the race pack in lucky number 13th place. So we have a lot of work cut out for us. We have 13 laps to try to get our way up to the front. What's going to happen here as we get our 3, 2, 1 and away we go. So into turn number 1, we take a little peek on our radar and just navigate our way slowly, as I didn't want to run into the back of the Brazilian ahead of us, but also had to keep an eye behind to make sure that nobody killed us from behind. And yeah, everyone made it through nice and safely. So very surprising, but still not over. As you can see on the left hand side, there's a car that goes wide, and I think he got pushed out wide or something as we try to make a move onto the inside of the Brazilian. A little bit of contact is made, but nothing too horrible, but it does screw up our exit off of turn number 6. So we now are starting to get pressured by the Canadian on the left hand side, and we're almost sandwiched in here as we're trying to make a little peek onto the inside of the Brazilian heading into turn number 10. Side by side with the Brazilian, just making sure that we don't accidentally spin ourselves out, because here on the third sector, very easy to just get on the power too early and lose the back end, spin yourself out, or accidentally spin someone else out. So that's one thing you really have to be careful about, especially with the Group 2 cars. The Group 2 cars just, like I said, a lot of torque. We are given the medium and the hard compound tires, so not a lot of grip here for these first opening laps here, especially because we're starting on the hards. So just patiently working our way through here. The Canadian did have to serve a 1-second penalty. Not sure where he got the 1-second penalty. Maybe just accidentally pushed someone off, but we're going to take full advantage of that as we get the slipstream on the Brazilian. Take a very last minute lunge going into turn number 1. Try to see if we can outbrake him heading into the corner. Park it right onto the apex, and that is P10 for us. So not too shabby of a start. We started off in 13th. We are now up into 10th as we are catching up to a ghosted Brazilian in the NSX. Probably lost it on the exit, and we're just taking full advantage of here as we're heading into turn 5 and 6 into this weird left-hander hairpin. We make so much time here as we make a little bit of contact with the rear of the Brazilian. But this is a really good race to kind of test the new penalty system. So if you guys have not known, which if you guys have been playing this past week, you guys probably have seen it. The penalty system to get a little revamp here on this game, and they made it a little more sensitive. Not sure exactly yet how I like it, especially because I've only played this game twice since they've had the penalty revamp, and I haven't been able to get enough mileage under my belt to kind of see the pros and cons of the penalty system. But so far throughout the day that I was doing these races, I didn't run into any penalties on my own, but I did see some questionable penalties on some of the other drivers. So just kind of want to see, play a little bit more, get a few more mileage under my belt, and just see exactly what the limits are when it comes to this penalty system, and just try to see if we can avoid getting these penalties when we do some of these close side-by-side racing. But for me right now, it just hasn't been the best, but also hasn't been the worst. But it's enough ranting here. We come out of turn number 1 as this Nissan just decides to go for the lunge of the century. Tries to go into the inside of 3 cars where there was really no room, and you can see that was the result there as he just forces off one of the other drivers in the green car off into the outside, and we kind of had to take evasive action there to try to avoid them and not get involved into their squabble. But that allowed Hako to get right ahead of us. He was able to find some cheeky little hole on the inside, make a very late break attempt, and he just made it work to gain about 3 positions there. So applause to him. He was able to just find his way through, and now he is up into 9th place. So we're trying to defend the inside here off of Smiley's Revenge, but I'm also keeping an eye on him because he was the one that just tried to force his way through on the entrance of turn number 1. So I don't want to be caught up in a Smiley's Revenge RAM. So I'm just keeping an eye on the radar, making sure that we position ourselves correctly to where we don't get smashed out from behind. But luckily we're able to get around him and just kind of speed our way through and pull away just a tad bit as we head off into the final corner down this long main straight. So you can see that we come out of the corner there. Someone has a penalty right behind us, and we were able to stretch out the gap to about a second. So I feel a lot more comfortable here. I can now start focusing on trying to catch up to the guys ahead, making sure that we hit all the marks and not worry about someone accidentally trying to ram us on the back end when we head into a couple of these very slow corners. So heading down the straight, we're now leading our way into lap number 5 as we're catching up to these 3 guys up ahead, but they're starting to swerve left and right to break that powerful slipstream, and all that weaving left and right has really slowed themselves down and allowed us to just catch up tremendously down the straight as we made about half a second going into turn number 1. And I'm loving this. I mean, I can see them swerve left and right all day. I mean, as long as it allows me to catch up to them and make the overtake. I mean, you guys can be my guest and swerve all day, but things are looking promising for us. I didn't think we were going to be able to catch up to them, especially because I have not played this game in over a week. I had some family members over, so didn't have enough time to play this game. This was the very first day that I came back. This was actually the second race I did. First race didn't do that well. We're just gonna leave it at that. But the second race, I feel like I could have done a lot better, especially because I put in a qualifying time. Even though it wasn't the best qualifying time, as we put in a qualifying time, we were able to not start off in the rear in the mid pack. But heading into the third sector, it just shows how tricky it is as we just make this the greatest maneuver there. Is almost we run into the back of Revenge right into the right-hander, and we just make some really great wreck avoidance as he just lost the back end coming out of that corner. And like I said, I understand his pain. I feel your pain, bro. It's just very difficult, that last final sector, especially if you're on the mediums and you have ran about 5 to 6 laps. Those rears, they just do not grip the track well. It's just very difficult to navigate your way into sector number 3. You just have to be very patient on the throttle and not get too caught up on the cars around you. If you see someone that's fast behind you and you're just spinning out the tires like we did there, and so does Snailgrove, it's just best to try to avoid them, or try to picture them out of your radar and out of your way, or just get out of the way like Snailgrove there, and just run your own race. Make sure that you don't spin out, because it's better just to navigate your way slowly, lose about half a second, than spin out and lose about 5 seconds. So yeah, we finally navigated our way out of the third sector there. We were able to get around Snailgrove. He came into the pits. I believe he started on the hard, so he's going to switch out to mediums. But we're going to come into the pits now here, as a couple of guys ahead of us had came in the lap prior. And we're going to switch off from the hards to the mediums. Not sure yet if the strategy is going to work. We've been kind of testing around the strategy, seeing if we should run the hards for 6 laps or for 7 laps. And you know what, going back on this race, I probably should have came in the lap prior. Snailgrove was able to get the undercut on us, but he gets a really bad entrance going into turn number 1, and so it's now side by side with Snailgrove. We have medium compound tires, he has medium compound tires. We do have 1 lap fresher tires as we head into the left-hander, heading into turn 5 and 6. So he was able to outmaneuver us going into Coca-Cola. Really didn't have any opportunity of holding off on the outsides. He just kind of pinched us out. But I do know that we have the fresher tires, so I'm just letting these bad boys kind of warm themselves up and work with Snailgrove here, because I didn't want to fight him too much. I see right ahead of us that we got 4 cars in front of Snailgrove that we can easily catch up to and actually finish in a top 6 position. So we're gonna see if we can work with Snailgrove here and not race alongside of him, but race with him, and see if we can navigate our way through this field here, as we have caught up to Halco and the Brazilian right ahead of him as we come out of turn number 16 and 17, I believe. So many corners here. I don't know if I said the right corners, but if I did, awesome. If I didn't, I apologize. But coming out of the final corner, we get a really great run here as we are in the slipstream of Snailgrove. Snailgrove has this great opportunity here, as he got this slipstream of Halco and the Brazilian. Brazilian comes into the pits, decided to go on the hards for 8 laps, which is a really interesting tactic. But free position for us. We're now up into 9th place as Snellgrove goes onto the inside of Halco, tries to make the overtake on the inside, makes a little bit of contact with him as Halco goes wide, and we are able to make an easy overtake on Halco. And yeah, which is exactly how I planned it. Just worked with Snellgrove and we just kind of worked our way through the field. Now we're going to work with Snellgrove again and try to catch up to that 6th place and try to get a PC here for the finish, as the 6th place driver actually gets a ½ second penalty for corner cut. And I'm telling you guys, it's Christmas. I know it's April, but it's Christmas, so, or it's May, but it's Christmas. Anyways, coming out of turn number 6, we head into this 3rd sector. We're vastly catching up to the 6th place driver, and he's got the ½ second penalty. So I'm assuming once we hit that penalty zone, just because of where it's positioned out, we're going to be able to make the overtake, and it's going to be us and Snellgrove fighting our way for the 6th place position. So passing this penalty zone, you can see how fast we caught up to the Chilean right here in 6th place. We get into the slipstream with Snellgrove and try to work with him, but I tried to stay in the back of Snellgrove to stay in the slipstream. Couldn't really go anywhere as the Chilean was parking on the inside, so we kind of had to go on the outside as we go side by side with Snellgrove, kind of crawl our way back into the inside, try to make a cutback, but Snellgrove parks on the apex, and we had nowhere to go except his rear end. So nice play on Snellgrove. Was able to hold off his 6th place position, but it's still not over here as we have about 3 laps left before the end of the race, and I want that P Steve. So we're heading into the right-hander and just biding our time here. Don't want to abuse these tires. We want to just make sure that we make the most out of these tires, and 5th place is not too far off the road, so if we can work with Snellgrove here, still I know he's got pace. We can probably get up to that 5th place position too, as you can see his name is starting to get bigger and bigger as we now start heading into this hairpin and leading our way into this famous 3rd sector. So into the 3rd sector here, Snellgrove gets a little bit of wheel spin, and I'm just doing my best to avoid making contact with his rear. As we head into this left-hander, we brakes very, very early into this left-hander, brakes really hard, and we have nowhere to go except for his tailgate. And there we go, guys. We finally get hit with a penalty. So 2 days in, we haven't had any penalties, or we haven't really been able to test the penalty. And yep, that's exactly what happened there. We just make the slightest amount of contact with Snellgrove. It wasn't intentional. I tried to let him go to see if that was gonna you know, lessen the blunt of all that, or the force of all that. And yep, didn't work out to our advantage now. But as we head into turn number 1, I'm starting to get a little bit worried. As we see on the radar, there are almost going 3 wide here into turn number 1, and somehow we all made it through here. As you can see, it's just a colossal of cars here heading into turn number 1, and yeah, we got pitched out by Snellgrove. It looked like Snellgrove missed a little bit of his braking zone, but we still somehow navigated our way through without anybody getting rammed out, which was surprising in my opinion. But we still got to serve this 1 second penalty. I don't think it was deserved. I had really nowhere to go. I tried to brake as much as I could going into the left-hander. Just you know, Snellgrove looked like he kind of missed his braking point and just braked really, really hard. And like I said, we just had nowhere to go except for his rear. But nobody's fault there. Just the penalties, in my opinion. So we're just gonna have to serve our 1 second penalty, which is most likely gonna be like a 1.5 second penalty, just because of how it's positioned here, as we try to avoid a fast hop going to the inside of the hairpin, and that just made us lose a lot more time compared to Snellgrove. So heading to the right-hander, I didn't know what was going to happen here, as we had the Chilean coming storming onto the inside, and I've tried to avoid him on the radar, and luckily we did, but we did run a tad bit wide, lose an extra half a second from Snellgrove, and now this 1 second penalty had turned into about a 2.5 second penalty, just because of how much time we lost on that 3rd sector, as we get overtaken by not 1, not 2, but 3 cars down the straight, and we find ourselves up or down in 10th place position. So 2 laps left to go. Can we do anything here, as we are still not too far back away from 7th place, so we can still, you know, crawl our way back up to at least a somewhat decent position, as the Chilean just forces out the Brazilian here heading into the left-hander, and we're going to take full advantage of that as we try to go for the cutback on the Brazilian, but just gets a really great top end speed off the exit, and we just have nowhere to go as he attempts to go back onto the inside of the Chilean. And I'm just kind of watching here, seeing what's going on, as I did know that Chilean just did push out the Brazilian the corner prior. So I don't know if the Brazilian wanted to get some payback, but it looks like he was able to just cleanly work his way around and kind of lessen, you know, our nervousness there, because I didn't see any malicious attempt of a ram. But we did get a good move on the inside of the Chilean as we try to sneak our way through the front of him. We get a little bit loose coming off the final corner. These mediums are really starting to go here, but it kind of killed our exit speed now. As you can see right ahead of us, Hauke has caught up to the Canadian, and they are swerving left and right. The number one thing I love seeing people do, especially because we're catching up to them now. So on the final lap here, heading into turn number 1, we try to outbrake the Chilean, and we break about 10-20 meters later than him. We're able to make the overtake and find our way back up into 9th place. So onto the final sector, you can see that Snellgrove is really starting to push his luck here as he gets very, very wide off of that hairpin, and Hauke is able to make the overtake on him. So the battle's still not over here. We still got one more sector left. I know we have fresh tires, and I know we're a little bit faster than these guys up ahead, so we're just slowly, patiently try to close the gap and see if we can get to a slipstream off the final corner here. As you can see, the Brazilian is working his way all around Snellgrove, and as we come out of the final corner, the Brazilian gets a really great run, tries to get back into the slipstream of Snellgrove. Snellgrove's trying to break the toe here for both of us, and he goes into the inside. It's going to be a drag race here. We're not going to be able to get that 7th place, but the Brazilian going to be able to? No! He gets 8th place position, and Snellgrove is able to hold off his 7th. And we've come home in a 9th place position, and kind of a little bit disappointing because I know we could have finished in 6th, maybe even 5th, but hey, penalty system is the way it is, and at least we were able to gain 4 positions after starting off in 13th and not playing this game for over a week. So let me know how you guys are doing around here. I'm really enjoying this race just because Fuji is one of my favorite racetracks, but not only that, the Group 2 cars are just perfect around this racetrack. It's just a good combination in my opinion, but I know for a couple of you guys might disagree, but let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys really enjoyed this video, since you guys made it to the end, please feel free to hit that like button and that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel when you guys do so. And if you guys want to catch me on the Twitters, Instagram, or on Discord, all those links are in the description down below as well. And since you guys made it all the way to the end of the video, I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, I hope to see you guys on the next one. Peace.